They arrived at 8 p.m. and walked along the shore, enjoying the fading light. Soon, they went to an inn and looked at the dark shapes of the lake, trees, and mountains. A strong storm began. The wind grew violent, clouds covered the moon, and rain started pouring heavily. Victor felt calm during the day, but at night, fear filled his heart. He held a pistol, ready to fight. Every small sound scared him. Elizabeth noticed and asked what was wrong. Victor replied, "Just this night. And everything will be safe. But tonight is terrible." Victor became worried about Elizabeth's safety. He asked her to go to her room while he checked for danger. He searched the house but found nothing. At first, suddenly, a terrible scream came from Elizabeth's room. Victor froze for a moment, then ran inside. Elizabeth was dead. Lying on the bed, Victor was completely broken. He fainted from shock. Victor looked up and saw the monster at the window. It smiled cruelly and pointed at Elizabeth's body. Victor shot at it, but the monster escaped into the lake. Victor lost everything: William, Justine, Clerval, Elizabeth. He feared even his father and brother might die. Victor returned by boat in heavy rain. He cried as he remembered happier times with Elizabeth. When Victor returned, his father died from grief after hearing the news. Victor was left completely alone. Victor lost his mind and was put in prison for months. People believed he was insane. After recovering, Victor had only one goal: revenge on the monster. Victor told a judge everything and asked for help. The magistrate listened but didn't fully believe him. He thought catching the monster would be impossible. Victor became angry and left. He decided to hunt the monster alone, no matter the cost. Victor is no longer thinking clearly. Revenge is the only thing keeping him alive. It gives him strength and focus. Without it, he feels he would go mad or die. Victor decides to leave Geneva forever. He takes money, his mother's jewels, his home, once full of love, now feels hateful to him. Victor travels across the world. He suffers hunger, exhaustion, loneliness. Many times, he wishes to die, but revenge keeps him alive. He visits the graves of William, Elizabeth, his father. In the dark cemetery, he feels their presence. Victor makes a powerful promise. He will hunt the monster until one of them dies. He swears this under the night sky, calling on spirits to help him. Suddenly, a terrifying laugh fills the night. The monster speaks, "I am satisfied. You have chosen to live." Victor tries to catch him, but the creature escapes again. Victor begins chasing the monster. He follows the Rhone River, the Mediterranean Sea. He even boards a ship to the Black Sea, but the monster escapes again. Victor follows the monster through Russia, Tartary. He sees giant footprints in the snow. Sometimes, villagers tell him where the monster went. The monster leaves clues on purpose. The creature wants Victor to keep chasing him. Even in the worst conditions, Victor survives. Sometimes, food appears, rain falls when he is thirsty. He believes spirits are helping him. Sleep is his only escape. In dreams, he sees Elizabeth, his father, his friends. For a moment, he feels happy again. The monster leaves messages. "Follow me to the frozen north. Your suffering will grow." It is like a cruel game. Victor continues north. Conditions become worse. Extreme cold, frozen rivers, no food. The monster writes, "Prepare. Your suffering is just beginning." The monster's cruel words made Victor stronger. he refused to give up. He prayed for strength and continued his journey across endless frozen lands. At last, Victor reached the ocean, but it was not beautiful like the Mediterranean Sea. It was frozen, rough, and wild, almost impossible to tell from land. Victor did not cry like travelers of the past. Instead, he knelt and thanked the spirit guiding him. Backhand index pointing right. He believed he was finally close to the monster. Victor used a dog sledge to travel faster. Now he was gaining on the monster. He was only 1 day behind. At a small village, people told him, a giant monster came at night. It scared everyone. It stole food and dogs. It escaped across the frozen sea. They believed it would die in the ice. Victor felt hopeless for a moment. But then, his rage returned stronger than ever. He prepared to follow the monster onto the frozen ocean. Victor travels for weeks across the ice. He faces freezing cold, dangerous ice mountains, hunger and exhaustion. Only revenge keeps him alive. One day, he sees a dark shape in the distance. It is the monster's sledge. Victor cries with joy. Victor gets very close, only 1 mile away. He believes he will finally catch the monster. Suddenly, the ice breaks apart. The sea crashes violently between Victor and the monster. Victor is left alone on a floating piece of ice. Hours pass in terror. His dogs die. He becomes weak. He is close to death. Then hope appears. A ship saves him. This ship belongs to Robert Walton. Victor reaches it using a small raft. Let's go back to the beginning. Robert Walton is an explorer traveling on a dangerous journey to the North Pole. He wants to become famous and discover something great. He writes letters to his sister to tell her about his journey. A strange figure on the ice. One day, the crew sees a figure far away, traveling on a sledge across the ice. This is a monster. But they don't know it yet. The rescue. The next day, they find another man on the ice. His name is Victor Frankenstein. He is freezing, weak, and close to death. Walton and his crew rescue him and bring him onto the ship. Victor begins his story. After Victor feels a little better, he starts telling his story. He says, "I am on a journey to find my enemy." Walton becomes very interested and listens carefully. Back to the present. Now we return to the present on the ship. Victor is telling his story, and Walton is listening. One-line summary. Walton rescues Victor, and Victor begins telling the story. Victor, weak and near death, makes one final request: if he dies, Walton must kill the monster. He warns, the monster is clever and persuasive. Do not trust it. Destroy it without mercy. Walton writes to his sister Margaret. He says, Victor's story is very terrifying. Sometimes Victor cannot speak because of pain. Sometimes he speaks calmly. Then suddenly becomes full of anger. Walton now believes the story is real. Why? He saw the monster from the ship. He read letters from Felix and Safi. Walton asks how the creature was made. Victor becomes angry and says, "Do not ask. Do you want to create another monster?" Victor reads Walton's notes and corrects them. He wants his story to be accurate for the future. Walton feels deep sympathy for Victor. He thinks, Victor has no hope left. Maybe death is his only peace, but Victor finds comfort in dreams of his loved ones. Victor is very intelligent, very emotional, very powerful in speech. When he talks, people feel strong. Emotions ever cry. Victor says, when he was young, he believed he would do great things. He created life, but now, everything is destroyed. His dreams are gone. Victor tells Walton, no one can replace Elizabeth, Clovel. Childhood friends are special forever. Victor says, He has only one purpose left: destroy the monster. After that, he is ready to die. Walton writes again. His ship is trapped in ice. Huge ice mountains surround them. The crew is afraid. Walton is not only afraid for himself, he worries about his sister. She will wait for him. She will feel pain and hope. Victor speaks to the sailors. His words give them courage. For a moment, they stop being afraid. They believe they can survive. But this hope does not last. Each day, fear grows again. Walton worries the crew may rebel, mutiny. The ship is still trapped in ice. They are in serious danger. The cold is very strong. Some sailors have already died. Victor is very sick and weak. He can barely move and looks close to death. The sailors come to Walton. They say, if the ice breaks and they are free, Walton must promise to go back south, home. They are afraid of more danger. Walton feels confused. He still wants to continue the journey, but he cannot ignore the sailors' safety. Victor suddenly gains strength and speaks to the sailors. Why are you afraid now? This journey was meant to be dangerous. Be brave. Do not return as cowards. He tells them, true glory comes from facing danger. The sailors are deeply affected. They cannot answer him. They leave to think about his words. After speaking, Victor becomes weak again. He falls back, almost lifeless. Walton finally decides, if they survive, they will return home. He feels disappointed, defeated. Walton writes, he has lost his dream of glory, his purpose, and soon, he may lose his friend Victor. The ice begins to break loudly like thunder. The ship is finally free. The sailors are very happy. They can go home. Walton tells Victor they are going back. Victor replies, you can return. But I will not. My mission is given by heaven. He tries to stand. Victor collapses again. He cannot speak. He can barely breathe. The doctor says, he will die soon. Victor is dying. Walton sits beside him. Victor says, backhand index pointing right, I will die soon. But the monster may still live. Backhand index pointing right, I no longer feel strong hatred. But I still believe he should die. He explains, he made a mistake creating the creature, but he was right not to create a second one. The monster became evil and destroyed innocent lives. Victor asks Walton to think carefully, but not to blindly follow revenge. Victor feels something new. Backhand index pointing right piece. He says, he sees his loved ones in his mind. He is ready to join them. His last advice, seek happiness. Avoid dangerous ambition. Then, he dies quietly, with a soft smile. Walton is heartbroken. He lost a great friend, a great mind. He feels deep sadness and emptiness. At midnight, something shocking happens. The monster enters the room. He stands over Victor's dead body. Walton sees the monster clearly. It is huge, ugly, terrifying, but also full of pain. The monster speaks with sadness. He is my last victim. I destroyed everything he loved. He feels deep regret, deep loneliness. He hates himself. Walton becomes angry and says, your regret is useless. You caused all this suffering. He calls the monster, hypocrite, fake sadness. The monster explains, I always felt pain and loneliness. I wanted love. But everyone rejected me. He says, he suffered more than Victor. He hated what he became. He was controlled by anger and pain. I am not happy. I am miserable. The monster says, I am completely alone. No one loves me. No one ever will. He knows he has become worse than any human. The monster decides he will end his own life. He says he will go far north, build a funeral fire, burn himself, so no one can ever create another like him. The monster says, farewell. Then, he jumps onto an ice raft, drifts away into darkness, and disappears forever. Victor dies peacefully. Walton is heartbroken. The monster appears and feels regret. He explains his pain and loneliness. He decides to end his life. He disappears into the dark. The story ends in tragedy, regret, and loneliness. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share with your friends. More powerful stories are coming. Thank you.